The Korean War started on the 25th of June 1950 and lasted 3 years till an armistice was declared on the 27th of July 1953. It resulted in the death of 3 million people and caused massive destruction of property. The causes of the war were deep-rooted, and the two most powerful nations of the world, Soviet Union and the United States of America, averted the two warring nations of North Korea and South Korea. Ever since the 7th century, Korea had existed as a unified country. However, after the Sino-Japanese War in 1884, certain parts of Korea were occupied by Japan. The Japanese conquered Korea entirely in August 1910, where after it remained a Japanese colony until the Second World War. After Japan's surrender in World War II, the Soviet Union held the northern half of Korea and established a communist state called the Democratic People's Republic of Korea under Kim Il-sung. The US controlled the southern half, called the Republic of Korea, from Tokyo. The main causes of this conflict: the geographical latitude of the parallel was used as a border between the regions, but the Soviet Union set on expanding communism, and the USA trying their best to eradicate it was always going to be fraught with tension. The UN tried to hold free election in the whole of Korea in 1948, but this proposal was rejected by communists on either side of the 38th parallel. This further distanced the two sides. Japan had been occupying Korea in 1905. During World War II, the US, Britain, and Russia negotiated post-war division of Japanese areas, and it was agreed that the US would occupy the southern region of Korea south of the 37th parallel, whilst the Russian would occupy the northern region. These were to be UN temporary protectors with minimum troops in each section, an election to take place prior to 1948.
As we already told, the Koreans have developed a sense of nation based on the shared blood and ancestry, and the main problem started many years ago. As we can see in the causes presented, all this contributes to the race problem that they have North Koreans, and we can observe in the fact of the nationalism that they have. North Koreans have through the country beyond imaginary clusters. Also, in math textbooks draw on the vocabulary of military might, like 3 People's Army soldier, Reuben Artillery American bastard. What was the rate of soldiers who fought? By the way, dictionaries and school books encourage North Korean citizens to speak at foreigners as beasts. North Korea's ideology is a race based on worldwide neutrality at odds with the teaching of Marx and Lenin. The outside world continues in the illusion that North Korea is a hardline Stalinist state. For conclude with North Korea, Brian Mayer said, "The Korean people are too pure blood and too British to survive in the able world without a great parental leader." In the same way, he said that North Korea is not a Stalinist, just a simple racist. The South Korean nationalism can be reflected in the Olympic Games because there are several motivational factors. First, when a South Korean men win a medal, they are exempt from the otherwise mandatory 2 years of military service that will put their lives on complete hold. This is a well-invoked reason for the success of male athletes by sports in the country. South Korean athletes who achieve medal success are granted a monthly pension for the rest of their living days. By the way, their nationalism is heavily derived from the immanent toward and the independence from Japan. This country is unusually nationalist place. They love to talk about their nation, often describe it in terms of race and bloodline, and tend to be quite suspicious for outsiders. The South Korea is gradually becoming a multi-ethnic society. Nowadays, it has one of the world's highest rates of mixed marriage. It is also become to nearly 1 million foreign workers.
In the World War II, Japan decided to expand and fix his eyes on the territories of Korea. So Japan decided to invade it. But the allies of World War II, the US and Russia, subtract power when they beat Japan to a battle where it fought for the independence of Korea. Finally, Korea was at the hands of the Allies, and until then, everything was fine between these countries. During the same year, Russia and the United States dissolved the alliance, and both came as opponents to the Cold War. Fearing that Russia had a possible attack to USA in the shared country of Korea, while during the Korean War, which divided Korea into South Korea and North Korea.
The effects of these are that 1 million Koreans died in the conflict, US troops suffered more than 44,000 deaths, the Soviet Union wants to spread its communist idea around the world, the United States purchased large atomic weapons and missiles. Washington, D.C. was built in the museum called the Veteran Memorial Korean War, which, as its name suggests, was built and dedicated to the veterans of the war. After the war separation of Korea, the United States reconciled with Japan, which was a great beneficiary of this war and was helped financially by United States, which spent more than $350 million in Japanese companies, likewise opening the doors to other foreign relationships. Today, 2 generations after the Korean War, American society is run by people who experienced it directly. However, it is the only divided nation in the world, and both parties are in the state of continuous confrontation. The South Koreans have developed a boundless vitality and stamina because of these difficulties, but they are also traumatized. Several aspects of the people are their culture that are perceived negatively are rooted in the scars of the long period of crisis and experience of the atrocious war. On the other hand, the economic, social, and cultural rights go hand in hand toward factors that affect or contribute to the country as a part of GDP. In 1,000, North Korea and South Korea 94,000. The data presented in the economic and cultural are contrasting because North Korea has lower rates than South Korea. For example, in life expectancy, rates increased by 10% compared to the 60% of North Korea. Eating exported to Korea is very varied kind. In South Korea, export machinery, automobiles, electronics, and chemicals. In contrast to North Korea, exports minerals and agricultural products. Literacy levels also contrast because North Korea has a 99% literacy rate, and in South Korea are 98%, but in the latter there are about 2 million students in college, being that the North Korea there are only 390,000.